Hello, welcome to Categories TV. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston. Our guest tonight is Patrick Stone, the lead singer from Budderside. How you doing today, Patrick?
Excellent, man. Great to see you
Thanks
again,
for
Jake.
joining us on this Valentine's Day. That makes it that much more special for people watching it. How's your day going so far?
Pretty good. Full of love. I can't be complaining about a goddamn thing.
And I got to tell you, Patrick, I interviewed you two previous times for the site, and every time I really enjoyed talking. And the interesting thing is, I'm an old school guy. Typically, I talk about how I miss the days of going to a record store and buying physical product. What's interesting about Butterside, of course, there's a new way of doing things, and the way you guys do things is the modern way. You release like a song at a time, a single at a time, and we talked about all the great music videos you released. Now, the latest one is from a song, "The Joker." I was watching the video last night, prepping for that, and in a word, man, all I can say about the track is epic.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a very welcome word. I love when somebody says it's epic. I think we're doing the right thing. We definitely set up to achieve epicness.
I mean, let's discuss the song because I watched the video and it kind of it takes place, I guess, during wartime. It takes me back to maybe like World War II. I don't know if that's when it's supposed to take place. So let's talk about what the song and the video means to you.
Well, the airfield that we went to shoot at is called Plains of Fame Air Museum. It's out in Chino, and I explored everything pretty much in the Southern California area and beyond. Actually, we even looked at places in Tempe and all over actually. But this one had a lot of World War II planes and stunt pilot planes. Mustangs especially is what drew me in. So that was kind of the primary focus. I tried to get as many Mustangs in there as possible because my father was a stunt pilot, and yeah, as a child, there were 6 airplanes in the hangar down the street. My father would go in and work on his Mustangs, his Swifts, his Piper, his Cessna, and he would wake us up, either me or my brother, and shove one of us into the 2-seater, and we would go flying above the ocean and do stalls and loops and all types of crazy shit. So so those anyway, we lost my father to COVID at the end of
Oh, wow.
2020.
So is this kind of your tribute to your dad, or
yeah. The song, all the lyrics, everything about it is it's a celebration of his life. Yeah.
Wow, what a great tribute. And that's one thing I love about great songwriters like you. I mean,
Thanks,
not
man.
even really knowing what the song was about before I talked to you today. I knew it had some connection, being a pilot and stuff. And now that I know what the song's about, it's like, wow, that's the thing about when you got the gift to be a songwriter as you do. Your songs really mean something. It's more than just I'll just sit down and write. It'd take me 5 minutes to write a song. It's really, people take the time and watch the videos and they listen to the lyrics. There's really a lot of thought behind all your songs.
Yeah, appreciate that. Well, when the images and the thoughts start flooding in, that's when it's time to, feel like, I don't know what other people do with their lives, and when you're doing anything else, whether it's business or marketing or whatever the hell it is that you're involved in, or you're a lawyer or whatever, I imagine that inspiration comes to you in the same way. But for me, I start getting images, and when it came to this song, it was really just trying to get through how hard it was, and then being able to reach out to Sam and the rest of the band members to sort of create a melody and a song.
And you were writing the song, did you know right away it was something about your dad, or did that come kind of later and you realize, hey, maybe this is kind of reminds me of my dad?
I was literally like, my father was pretty much in the last phase of his life. I'd just gotten him into a home. I had to fly up to Tahoe and take care of him and get all of that set up for him. And he was suffering from Alzheimer's already. So I was literally in a parking lot outside of a pizza place, I think, or whatever. And I broke down, and I just reached out to Sam and I said, can you write something? I'm like just full of tears. I was crying. I was emotional. My father was, it was tough. It was a tough time. So he sent over the verse line to that. And then I just started, I turned to music for comfort with Sam, and the melody started coming. The words came right out. I think the song was pretty much 90% done before I left that parking lot.
Oh, wow. And if it's not getting too personal, because I myself, many of us have had people in our lives who have suffered from Alzheimer's. was that extra hard, because you're there visiting your dad, and were there ever times where kind of like you felt like maybe he didn't remember Patrick, your name, but he kind of had a glimpse. He looked at you, kind of, no, this guy, he's somebody to me.
Yeah, no, he never got to the point. I was the one thing in the world that he remembered everything about, and that's it was a huge gift because my father and I had a huge falling out. There was a time in my life I thought I would never talk to him again. We had a really bad, just it got really, really bad. We went from 6 airplanes and a hangar down the street to completely bankrupt and in a tiny little shack in San Jose. And then everybody disappeared and my father fought and like I got kicked. Anyway, it's a long, long story, but
Yeah.
but eventually, like, I wanted to be Jim Morrison. So I started getting really heavy into drugs and trying to find out what that education involved. And I definitely learned everything you could from that. But in the process, I definitely lost my connection to my family. And then my father had this heart attack and a stroke. And I was able to get up there by his side and pray him through it. And, that was part of the deal was if you saved him, I would in turn quit all the drugs and focus on everything I thought that I was definitely put on this planet to do.
Well, thank God, at least for your father passed away, you guys had, mend fences and made up, and thank God, because some people they don't get that chance, and
Yeah, so I had 14 years with him. That was just beautiful. I was supplying the Christmases and the birthdays and the vacations and everything. And just my whole life came together as his whole life was falling apart. So we really bonded on a level that I beyond a level that I could have ever wished for. And then as he progressed with Alzheimer's, he didn't get so bad. COVID got him before it got really bad, but he did need a new place, and that was the phase that we were in when the song began getting written. And then when he passed, we went up to record the song with Matt Good and ended up really putting the polish on it and really like the bridge was created and the actual like a lot of the words really fell into place finally.
so the place where you shot the video, I was curious. Did you just happen to come across that, or were you doing research?
Yeah, no, I looked for places all over. I reached out to and in fact, we have a fighter pilot in the family. Step brother of mine flies for the Navy. He's actually like a Top Gun pilot, and he tried to hook me up with a few different places, but they fell through. Another friend of mine was a pilot, and just reached out to everybody I could, and then finally, I found this place through a recommendation of a friend of mine, actually that had become a pilot, and then I called the place. And they didn't want to take in a band of 5 long-haired freaks, to run around in their place. But I told them the story about my father. I told them how important it was. He was a veteran. So they warmed up to the idea pretty quick. And
that's a great idea right there. Have you ever given any thought, especially with what the song's about and releasing it now, maybe doing like any events like in conjunction with different veteran type of things?
That would be an honor for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned about, you've been sober for a while. What was that like finally, getting to the point in life where you're able to kick the habit?
17 years, man. It's the most amazing 17 years sober now. Yeah.
Here's a silly question. Would you say you've been sober about as long as you did the drugs or about the same?
No.
You're getting, 17 years, way to go,
Almost. It's got to be getting there. I mean, I started doing dope when I think I took my first hit off of weed when I was like 9, and it started immediately. I was smoking cigarettes and drinking by the time I was in junior high school. So like 7th grade or whatever, I was already having friends over and I already had a band and we would play in the living room and we were drinking beer, you know what I mean? We were sneaking off to the beach and partying. It was like, it was the real,
most people get hooked is through other friends, doing it and hanging out. Yeah.
I always wanted to try something more. So that eventually led to all the hard drugs,
And then in regards to the video shoot, I bet the place where you shot it, I bet that's the first rock band they ever had shoot a music video there,
I'm not sure. They had mentioned they'd had a few musicians come through before. I'm not sure if any of them have been as heavy as we are. But I did see them reposting a lot of the stuff that we posted, so they were pretty proud of what happened.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I would think that if anything, it'd be good advertisement for the airfield. Oh, international rock band Budderside shot their latest video here. And a lot of your bands might just go looking for a place just to get a picture. Who knows?
Right, right. Yeah, no, that would be cool. I mean, all of the videos seem to really be a lot of energy comes from the meanings behind the songs. You know what I mean? And we seem to find places that are really willing to help us out and bend over backwards to get it done
Yeah,
because they believe in the cause. That's usually how it goes, right?
that's what I say at the top of the interview. But I really got a different experience with this band because um, I would love to go get like have a whole CD of like Budderside, tunes. Got to wait for a while, I understand, but that's my typical experience with an artist. But these songs are so good that like the Joker, for example, is the latest one, and I
Yeah.
guess the fans are going to live with that for a while. And then and for whatever reason, because you do it that way, these songs kind of people are able to live with them for a while. They each kind of have a life of their own. Like the last one I really love too. Too, I think it's called Too Far or Go Too Far.
Yeah.
That was like an anti-suicide song, and again,
Yeah.
kind of totally different message, but just as good of a song, just as powerful.
Yeah, that one, was inspired by a lot of the toxic people in Los Angeles, and then also by my sister took her own life when I was younger. So, again, if you get real stories, you get the truth from us, including, no pun intended. We have a song called "The Truth" as well. But
And I bet
yeah,
I bet you would rather have your sister back than have that song, if you know what I mean. But
yeah,
but
well, it's funny, everything happens for a reason, and she and so many people in my lives, whether it was Lemmy or my friend Steve or my roadie Damon, you lose these people, and then you just have to really value what you had with them and really appreciate what they gave you, and then you really, they're gone. So instead of being sorry or sad about it, it's like use what they gave you while they were here as
yeah.
inspiration. Carry that light with you.
I mean, you can kind of take from all kinds of things. I mean, another one of my all-time kind of favorite anti-suicide songs, and is like Alice Cooper's "Hey Stupid." And unless you really know what he wrote the song about, the lyrics don't really explain it, but it's a powerful message once you know what the song's about.
Yeah.
And the thing, like with you, like you said, you're actually, as people say, you're taking a page out of your own personal um, life. And I remember you telling me in a past interview that you had suicidal thoughts of your own. And so maybe through what you went through with your sister, seeing how her death affected you and other family members, you thought, even though you were having those thoughts, you never kind of carried those thoughts out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's incredibly, life is it twists you in so many different directions. As a band, music is really for me, and I think for everybody in the band, I can speak for everyone in the group, that it's just like we're just trying to make a connection with as many people as we can, because we feel like, all of these things are so profound, and if we share them, maybe other people will, get a connection with us, and we'll begin to understand why we're here a little bit more. And you've got guys like Sam and Logan and Jeff that are coming up with this, these sounds and, talents that they've worked on so hard in their lives to perfect. And they're at such a, I put them way up there. The bar is set so high. So yeah, I've got to deliver something very meaningful when it comes to the lyrics.
In fact, the reason I reached out to you, besides the fact I always love talking to you, is just last week I interviewed Sam, and we'll be posting that later this week.
Awesome.
And so you'll love seeing that. And we talked a little bit about Budderside, and see, he's such a great writer and a good guitar player in his own right. He's, besides Budderside, he's got like two or three other bands that he's doing time in. Um,
Yeah.
and so and none of the each of the bands he's involved with, they're just as good as the other ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's great.
I mean, it's Sam, it's, Budderside enables Sam to write,
Yeah.
what he wants to write. And he's an equal party when it comes to the group. So, we're like a family. This is our main thing. If you ask him, he'll tell you the same thing. I'm super happy for him that he gets to do the stuff with Dorothy, as well as Faster Pussycat. And he's got a ton of other things going on too, as I do, as well. I'm singing for Sweet. I've got another group, Sweet FA. I'm doing Led Zeppelin thing, and
So
possibly some
now
more.
you said
So,
you also play with, is it the Sweet or Sweet FA? What was that?
Sweet, the original Sweet. So Steve Priest's The Sweet,
Oh, okay,
Ballroom Blitz and all of that. Yeah.
yeah.
So
How
yeah.
did you get? How did you land that gig? I mean, that's quite a.
Yeah, Polly Z was singing for them and asked me to step in and sub. And when I did, There were some shows up on the horizon, and they asked me to be involved with that. And that was like, I think it was 2020. The tour was supposed to start, and then COVID hit, and we had to wait. But last year we toured all over Canada and all over the United States, and now we've got so many dates coming up this year.
Plans for you guys to record any new music? Any talk of that?
Yeah, we have been. We have been. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I'm sure, like a lot of us, you're a Sweet fan. When you get the offer to join a legendary band, like, yeah, hey, why not? But
Yeah.
did you know like just the hits, or did you have to learn a lot of his songs? What was that process like?
Well, it's funny, if you're going to sing a song, it's you learn really quickly that you don't know it. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because you're not thinking like that. But yeah, there was there's a set list. It's probably 24, 25 songs long.
Yeah.
And you've really got to spend some time learning that stuff. But the coolest thing, the funnest thing about Sweet is that if you run out on the stage, and maybe, I mean, by now I've got all the lyrics down, it's second nature.
Yeah,
But
yeah, of course.
at the beginning it was like, and it's like, you don't even have to hesitate, just hold the microphone out to the crowd.
The
They
fans
sing
know it.
because
Yeah,
they all know it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you find the Sweet is being a European band, that they're more popular in Europe, or would you say they're equally popular over here?
Well, it's funny because there's Andy, the original guitar player, has his version over in the UK, so he's got the rights to it over there. And
Yeah, yeah.
Steve Priest's version, Steve
Oh,
Priest
yeah,
was a member, but so our version of it has all the legal rights in the US and Canada, and I think in beyond. But
so it
he's
kind of
got it.
works out. Yeah, kind of like the two LA Guns. Yeah,
Sort of, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's great to hear that you got such a great gig like that, and I love the fact that you didn't have to give up Budderside to do it. It's great to be able to do both.
Well, it feeds all. I just couldn't stay home and wait.
Yeah.
We have so much going on. So I'm a singer first and foremost, but Butterside's definitely the passion for all of us, and we are really, the guys were just.
Yeah. But what I love about your story, I think you told me the first time I interviewed you that the way Butterside kind of got its start was, I don't know if you started out as a roadie for Lemmy, but you eventually were signed to his record label. And
That's right.
So talk about a guy literally kind of starting out as a roadie, working his way up, and actually getting a record deal to where you are now.
Right. Yeah. It's funny thing is the same thing happened to Lemmy. Lemmy was roadieing for Jimi Hendrix.
In fact, I just seen an interview. I also interviewed Robbie Crane a couple weeks ago. He gave a great interview, Black Star Writers. But I seen something else where he was talking about in another interview with somebody that he got his start as Bobby Dell's bass tech years ago, before he was
Nice.
ever Vince Neil's band. So that's cool when guys kind of work their way up, and
Yeah.
you're the kind of success you are now.
Well, it's all like, the family gets, or the world gets smaller and smaller every time you make, the friends that you really want, and that's really what it is. It's family connections, really. It's like, it's people aren't just going to help you. They need to like you. So, you saturate yourself in this industry, and you begin to find out, wow, I really get along with this. I really like this person. Let's connect again. Let's go out. Let's hang out. Let's go to dinner. Let's, I'll go. I don't care. I'll roadie for you, or you can roadie for me, or whatever. And then, before you know it, you just have this family that's just constantly doing favors for one another, trying to get each other something better and brighter, and we have a lot of love pouring out at the moment. It's kind of mind boggling. It's going to be an incredible spring, an incredible year, so watch out.
And so, do you guys have more? You have plans like for maybe a couple more singles? I mean, the New Year's just barely started, so I hope so,
Yeah,
right?
this is kind of I don't know if it's hit the news yet or anything, but we've been talking about it. We've done. Maybe I will kind of try to keep. When does this air?
Well, we're gonna probably within the next week or two. Yeah.
Week or two. Okay. Well, no. So the band just flew in, or Logan flew in. He's been out with the Pretty Reckless for a little while, so he flew in. And we've done something for this countdown, this Danny Wimmer countdown, the Power Hour.
Okay.
So we just recorded a new track. So that's going to be probably the next release. We're working on a video for that. I've got another one in the works that we did a little while back. So yeah, we will continue to deliver on, a brand new single about every 6 to 8 weeks. And by the time we reach 12 songs, we will finally create that LP for you. So you will finally be able to hold a physical.
Again, it's a different experience for me, and yet I think it will definitely be well worth the wait, because by the end of that, you'll have a whole album's worth of material.
Yeah, there's no B-sides, man. Every song should be a hit.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of bands will do like they'll throw in a cover or something. Well, you're such a great writer. You write such great original material. You don't need to cover anybody else's stuff.
Mm. We did cover some Johnny Cash on the second album. Did you hear that
Oh,
one?
oh yeah, yeah. I think that I think I heard that. But yeah, again, you
Yeah.
don't really need to, but you can kind of throw it out there, and people, for what it is, just check it out.
Well, if
So
you're gonna do it, at least do it in your own way, that it doesn't sound like you're trying to be them. I hear so many covers come out from so many different artists, and it's like,
like
you
Johnny
know,
Cash is not maybe the most obvious cover that Budderside would do, and I think that's what makes that so cool.
we
It's
do a really cool rendition of it too. And to be completely honest, I ripped it off from there's a band called Ectomorph. They're a black metal band out of Hungary that I toured with another band. I had Steelgrave with some of the guys from the ESP Guitar Company, and we toured all over Europe with this freaking band of gypsies that were just absolutely insane. Black freaking metal. I mean, mosh pits, like the whole crowd was mosh pits every freaking night.
yeah,
And they did this cover of Johnny Cash, and it was so hard. But like they actually did it with just acoustics, but I really literally just stole their version of it, the way that they did it, the hits and everything. And then you turn that up and do it with our band, and the theatrics that we do on stage just completely made it a crowd pleaser. So I was like, well, when we went in to do the record, I wanted to put that one down. So we did a pretty good job of it in the studio
wow,
as
wow.
well.
And Sam, I got to tell people that Butterside, I think the stuff you guys put out is as good as anything by like the Who, the Beatles, Led
Oh,
Zeppelin. And and the interesting thing is you don't sound like them, but it's just I guess those bands like you, they wrote great songs. And see, that's the interesting thing about Butterside. I think if you guys were around like when MTV was around, Butterside would have been one of those bands like Warren and Motley Crue. You would have been all over MTV. I
well, the
think.
cool, yeah, another cool thing is so this countdown that we've been on the last we've been doing it for now like 9 months, and I've had each song stay on the chart for as long as they're allowed to stay on the chart. So we've been on
There
like the
you go.
top 20 countdown on Matt Pinfield, who was from MTV,
Yeah,
Katie
yeah, yeah.
Babs is from Octane, and Josh Bernstein from the no cover contest and all this stuff. He's done so much work. You can't even begin to list it all. But so all three of those guys, and then Danny Wimmer, who does all the festivals, have had this countdown. And now it's gotten picked up for network television. So rock and roll actually does have a place on network television once again. So that's a true sign of the times that rock is really starting to make a big enough impact that like the common general public are going to want to see it on network television.
See,
So
that's what I find impressive about this band is not just that the songs are so good, but like you're saying, all the songs have charted. For example, anybody that sees like the video for the Joker, it's going to be one of their favorite tunes. Um,
appreciate that.
and I just find that without even having an album out, without even really, and like you said, this new way of doing it, it's charted on this new countdown show. Maybe that will be a place for other bands to go. Who knows? But I'm just so impressed that these songs are that good that it could just live with people for a few months before you release the next single.
I think it's going to be interesting if you sit down with an LP and you put it on, and then it basically kind of takes you back in time instead of like, you know what I mean? Because you're going to recognize all the songs that are out, except for we'll probably save one, two, or
An
three
album
songs.
like that, I would think, would really each song would maybe represent a chapter out of your guys' life, or from when maybe when the song was being written or recorded. I mean, because typically what way bands would do it back in the day, like Kiss go in, they write the songs for Destroy, they go in and record an album. All the songs on that album sound like they belong on the same album. Where when you guys do it, doesn't necessarily have to be like that. And who knows? It may have a continuity, it may not. It just all may be great songs, and that's the continuity
Well,
right there.
we're definitely holding on to continuity. We're using the same producer for every song. So we've gone in twice for 4 songs at a time, which leaves us with 8. And we've got a good 4 songs written now. So we're going to go back and see the same producer. So the whole album's going to have the same sound. It's going to sound like it was done at the same time. But what that really enables us to do is really kind of explore life and experience life and have something as far as subject matters for me, myself,
Yeah, yeah.
be passionate about while we're in the studio. It's not like we're looking back on a memory. It's each
No,
song is kind of what we're going through at that
that's
time.
what
So
I mean. That's what I mean. I mean, and then who knows if you take like 4 months between recording sessions, who knows what else might take place in your life or in the world between then.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to fish for ideas when you have the truth.
And so and now like you guys are always putting out great videos and songs that we've been talking about. How often do you guys play live? Do you typically play like just at festival events, or what? How do you guys go about doing your live shows?
Up until COVID, we were touring constantly. We would go out for 3 months at a time and just beat our heads against the wall in clubs. And sometimes we get up to something as big as the Gramercy Theater and maybe a festival. We've done Wacken Festival in Germany twice now, and that's for like 80,000 people. So we're no stranger to a big stage. But since everybody's been so busy and successful doing the other projects that actually pay a good amount of money for each of us, you know what I mean? You can't say no to that. But at the same time, I haven't lost focus. I've been pushing Budderside at 120% of my power.
Sure.
Even, you know what I mean? It's like I might run away for a weekend, but you can guarantee I'm still on the countdown. I'm still writing. I'm still working. Every penny that I make on the other bands, I'm still pouring into Budderside. Just because that's what I'm passionate about. So we have kind of taken a little break. I don't think we've played together since the Viper Room, which was March of last year. We almost haven't played together for a year, but now we're going to do something in March, probably here in LA. And then we have Welcome to Rockville, which is, such a huge festival coming up in May. And that will definitely lead to some other touring. And we have actually been tossing around a few ideas for some. The next time we announce tour dates, it's going to be something that you're going to say to yourself, "Oh, shit, it's fun to have for this band."
I hope so. And Budderside is one of those bands too that you guys can tour with numerous types of acts. I mean, because like I was talking with Sam, Budderside, you guys got the ability to write a beautiful power ballad and then a great rock and tune. You're one of those bands, kind of like Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses. You can kind of do everything.
Yeah, I consider us more of an active rock band now. I'm really more excited to tour with like Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills or Black Veil Brides even, or any of the bands that are kind of in the active rock top 10 countdown. Pierce the Veil maybe, Nothing More, Bad Omens. Some of those are our favorites right now, and they really, it's just more of the same feeling. So I think we would fit in really well with bands like that if we get so lucky as to
and Patrick, now I know you're very involved with not just the songwriting and the the ideas for the videos, but have you directed any of the videos, or do you typically have somebody else do that?
Well, I leave the directing, quote unquote, to my director Vicente. He's just got a real knack for like imagery and like cinematography, as well as his whole team works very well together. We all work very well together. But I definitely have the storyboard all written out for everybody when I come into a situation, because I really want to tell a story when I deliver a video. And sometimes it goes off the beaten path. It doesn't really actually have to stick to a story, but there's definitely always a story to it, and I can see all of it in my head before we do it. And
being that you're the guy that's so involved in the storyboard and that, it's one thing to write a song and you know what the song's about, but when you get the finished music video, what's it like to kind of watch your song, your story kind of come to life before your eyes? That's got to be a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, it's one of the most exciting things I experience in life, for sure. It's like from the get-go. I mean, creating the music too. I mean, we just finished a song that's like, I've never been so pumped about something. I can't stop listening to the song. Like usually, like we'll finish a mix of a song and I'll listen to it a few times. I'm like, God, that's great, and then I kind of put it away, and then I'll come back to it and I'll go, oh wow, that was really great. Or like you stumble upon it, or a friend will listen to you. Oh, yeah, it really is great. And then you listen to everybody else's opinions. But this one, and particularly, I just can't stop listening to it. It just freaking melts your face off.
That's a pretty good sign right there, because typically you hear musicians talk about, oh, I'm so tired of working on that song. I'm sick of hearing it. But I think when you're, like you said, that you're at the point where you're still loving it, that's a sign it's a good song,
Yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there listening back to something, or you're sitting there watching your video back finally, it's like a rush like no other. I mean, it's like having it's like I would imagine it's like having a child. You know what I mean? Maybe if I probably had a child.
I know you mean. I mean, as being the guy who wrote the song, you're a creator, and then you kind of see your creation come to life, and then take that another step. Performing these songs live. And these are your people, your crowd. They're singing your songs word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so grateful for all of it. You know what I mean? It's really cool to sit back and see all the hard work kind of paying off, you know.
And then the
Whether
last song for night, last question for the night, Patrick, before I let you go. Now, talking about interpretation, I mean, as a songwriter, you know what these songs are about, but you must love it when fans come up to you and they tell you, hey, Patrick, I just love, the song The Joker. It means this to me. And you're thinking, that's not what I wrote about, but hey, that's what you got out of it. Great. I mean, and you almost think like, boy, this person got a different message. That's great too, because that's what the song means to them.
Yeah, 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 we love that. With this one in particular, it was a little bit hard to keep you know, it's important to explain exactly why the song, like the lyrics are so, I mean, they're dark, you know. It's like you kind of almost need to explain what the song is about because it's about death and letting go and you know, so it was more important on this one to kind of explain what the song was about, but still so many people did get their own interpretation of it.
I could see that because unless somebody really is listening to the words, especially if you're watching the video, they might think, oh, okay, oh, cool, this is about fighter jet, warplanes and stuff, and
Right, or traveling through time, or you
yeah,
know.
yeah. And then they hear you tell this, oh, wow, that's deep,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Patrick, I had fun doing this. Please, when the next single drops, let's do this again because I love talking. I love doing it this way now. It's so much fun. Interview is going to go probably within like the next week or two. I'll let you know once I have a date. So take care, my friend. Bye bye.
Really appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for having me, man.
Time. Bye bye.
All right.